Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
A chicken economy.
We got chickens in the bag. Our neighbors have chickens.
What? They're not legal here, you know. Shh, don't rat your neighbor out. That would be
my neighbor. I know exactly who it is too. I would never rat him out. He gave me some zucchini fresh out of his garden.
Go. See, that's what I'm like. The chicken thing gets really overblown in this place.
No, it doesn't.
No, I mean, people get really bent out of shape over because the chicken ordinance has come up before.
When I lived in California, I was dating someone who lived in South Central, and her entire neighborhood, everybody had. There were so many fucking chickens. And it was literally you wake.
Was it a problem or did you?
It was every
roosters. Everyone's got roosters. Although there was a rooster in our neighborhood for a really long time too, and I would hear him when I was brushing my teeth, and I just I don't know, I kind of liked it.
I mean, it's nice.
It was like a good morning.
Some country
to me.
Shit.
Yeah. Speaking of.
Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora.
Good morning, Aurora.
Yes, the time is now 8:02 a.m. And I have to say, boy, it feels good having an intern. Shouts out to Monica. Hit the clap for you. Hit the
right.
Do that for you.
And she's charming.
Yes. You are listening to another episode of Jenettesplaining here on the Second Largest City's First Daily News Podcast, and we have a lot of ground to cover today.
We do.
Some of it is gravelly. Is that the...
Some of it is gravelly, and I don't understand if we're going to pay all this money
to
get the median put in on Farnsworth Avenue where the Illinois Prairie Path crosses it. Yes, I'm in favor of that, because that is a dangerous crossing.
Right.
I run on that path sometimes, and there's one section where I definitely run, and it is crossing the Farnsworth. Everything else I'm kind of walking and being a little slow about it, but crossing Farnsworth, whew, better go, right? That is dangerous, and there have been fatal accidents in that strip of Farnsworth before. So the plan, there was an open house last week we told you about here on the show.
We did.
And the plan is to build a median in the middle of Farnsworth Avenue where the Prairie Path, where the bike trail crosses.
Right.
So in your mind, Noodle, if it's not coming up exactly where that is, it crosses, it's just a little bit north of Indian Trail.
Right.
You see sometimes flashing lights that then everybody kind of ignores.
Right.
And then people try to cross and then, nearly get nailed.
Sarah Hip is here. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning. But what they're not, what there is no mention of, so they're going to add some more flashing lights. I mean, there's already flashing lights there. They're going to add a median so that you can like cross and like stop in the middle and then like cross the rest of the way, and that's probably a good thing. But they didn't talk at all about paving the damn path.
Right.
And boy, I would really like, because it's all gravel, man.
So here's the thing about it. Now so for you bike riders, currently bike riders have to wait for all 4 traffic lanes to clear before crossing. There's rectangular rapid flashing beacons that people crossing can activate, but the median would allow the city to add 2 more to the crossing.
So more flashy lights.
More flashing lights. Right. One of the people who attended the talk, though, was a guy by the name of Curtis Wilson. We're shouting him out because that's a really cool name.
It's a great name.
Yeah, he's a bicycle rider who attended the event. He said, quote, "I'm appreciative the city is taking an interest in this public space."
Me too. I just really want them to pave the path.
Right, for real.
And then for all the paths to get plowed in the winter.
Yes.
Fox Valley Park District.
Right.
Looking at you.
That's more jobs. You
Yeah.
know, get you a shoveler.
Yeah. Not
Do
even.
they do it by hand or they got the machine?
They got a little. You ride on it. It's not even like. It's like the thing that the city has that does the sidewalks in downtown. If you ever see them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's
that
like
thing.
it's like a riding little.
That one little.
Single
like
person
a
brush.
joint, yeah.
It's like a brush that brushes it all off, and then they've got the little mini front end loader.
Jennifer Ryan Mayton, good morning. Norman Peterson said chicken talk. Yes, that's how we started. We started with chickens.
We did start with chicken talk. I love chickens. I personally love chickens. I would love to have chickens in my backyard. When I bought my place, I thought we could have chickens, and then I saw another place in the code that says that you absolutely cannot have chickens. I have kind of a high profile property, so I've never gotten brave enough to actually get chickens because I've always been afraid that I would get attached and the city would find them and then I would get fined, and so no chickens. Tragic.
Right.
Because you have no idea how much I spend on like really fancy eggs from the grocery store that hopefully are from chickens that are treated well.
All right. The estimated $390,000 project that we're talking about with the
bike trail. The bike trail.
Would largely be paid for by a $300,000 federal grant the city already has received from the Highway Safety Improvement Program. The city was awarded that grant in 2019, but there were paperwork delays during 2020 as well as coronavirus pandemic delays. Yeah, this is
no particular reason that everything took forever for 2 years.
Very strange. But we got the link to this, which will be in the chat for you guys to read at your leisure. The time is 8:06. Good morning, Anna Sierra. She's here. Happy Friday, lovely friends. We appreciate that. Word up. That's a word up. Yeah. Okay.
What's next?
Next, enrollment numbers in West Aurora are going down.
Yeah.
Now, Victoria Halamalnado's here. Good morning, Victoria.
Good morning.
She is an author who wrote many books, one of which is called Bartleby the Brave. It's a kid's book, and it's also in Spanish. Great person. She came to our 1-year anniversary party, too. Shouts all the way out to you.
That was a good party.
It was. The party was the ish.
Party. I said I had to leave.
Get ready for year 2, second anniversary.
Right.
We coming.
We're coming. I mean, like still in like a while from now. It's still many months from now.
Oh yeah. This not.
We're planning.
Yeah, right.
We're plotting. We're already plotting.
Our listeners are like, when is it, man? I'm gonna bring some beer.
That's right.
Okay. Tell us about enrollment numbers.
So
in
West Aurora, the West Aurora School District,
right.
So they had a report on it. Enrollment numbers have declined for the 5th year in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And what staff is saying is like, well, yeah, it's been a trend. This isn't anything that we weren't expecting. And of course, COVID did put a little bit of a kink in the numbers, right? Because so many people decided to homeschool their kids for a year, and maybe some people are still doing that. And they kind of track everything, beginning with the they even track like who's coming in the pipeline though, based on birth records in the county, so they can see like how many kids are born in a given year, so they know how many kindergartners to expect in 5 years.
Right.
And it's just a hollowing out of the west side in terms of new like young families. They're just not there, and I feel like we have your eyebrows popped. That's right.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. But I think we've talked about this trend before too, relative to Indian Prairie, which is also experiencing this issue. Like lots of school districts in the area are actually experiencing this issue. I don't have the numbers, but we could break those down for you based on which one's in the city. What's going on is, first of all, us millennials, we ruined another thing. Now we're ruining. I feel like millennials get accused of ruining like all the things in the economy, and it's really like
what did we ruin the first time?
Oh, we're not buying houses, and we're not buying. What are all the things? There's like lists of things that like millennials are like accused because we just spend all of our money on avocado toast, right? So. This is like a trope in.
I know. Yeah.
Right. This is a trope in.
Damn millennials. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. They've killed the vacation home or whatever, and it's like we killed the housing market because like we just can't afford any of it. Like we're just not buying homes because we just can't afford any of them. Right.
Yeah. Or stop complaining when you bought your house in 1940 for $8,000.
Right.
I don't want to hear that right now.
Or like cars, like millennials aren't buying cars. What a shame! Like, and it's like because we ride share or whatever, live in cities. So this is one of those things that where millennials aren't having kids. Oh my god! So that's part of the story, right? And then the other part is like, well, even if we are having kids, we can't like afford to like put that buy houses for them in the suburbs, right? So like. It's at least in in certain neighborhoods, right? So what they're seeing is that neighborhoods that were generating a lot of kids before, the older generations are staying in their homes a lot longer, which is increasing the prices of those homes. Like it's basically increasing the demand for those homes, right?
Right.
And reducing the stock. So you can't have. If your parents are still living in the house that you lived in high school, then when you are ready to buy a house, you probably can't afford to buy in that neighborhood when you're ready to buy a house and have kids. So you're seeing a shift of like where all these people are going. First of all, it's just taking our generation so much longer to be able to afford homes,
right?
And that's just starting to happen. Like my friends are mostly just starting to like buy their own places at this point, but like. Most people aren't procreating at quite the same rate. I have a lot of childless friends, right? And a lot of it comes down to economics. So this is not like a problem with West Aurora specifically so much as it's a general trend story everywhere. But we saw this in Indian Prairie with the
District 204.
Yes, yep. District 204. So they've had to redraw their lines a lot in the district because what they're noticing is that a lot more kids are coming out of townhome neighborhoods than they used to, and fewer kids are coming out of large single-family home neighborhoods than they used to.
Right.
And it's that same thing. Not to create the generation wars any more than already exist in the public imagination, but with baby boomers staying in their larger homes longer, millennials just can't move into them, so they're moving into smaller townhomes so that their kids are going to decent school districts.
All right, let's get some names and numbers here. So according to Assistant Superintendent of Operations Angie Smith, she discussed the latest enrollment numbers. Enrollment numbers have declined for the 5th year in a row in 129. Elementary and middle school enrollments have steadily declined since 2011 to the 12 school year. Elementary enrollment in 2011 to 12 stood at 5,753 students. But has progressively gone down since then to 4,396 for this school year. Middle school enrollment figures also dropped during that period. Enrollment at the high school level has remained somewhat constant over the past few years, being listed at 3,947 in the 2016 to 17 school year and 3,846 this year.
Which is roughly what it was when I was in high school at West Aurora. Not that many years ago. Like a few years ago. Like just a few.
Right. Now here's going to what you mentioned. Under the state's evidence-based formula, the district will lose about $5,500 annually for the loss of each student enrolled. The district monitors county birth rates as well as the figures for people leaving the state. The district will continue to monitor staffing levels as well in relation to the drop in enrollment. Quote, during the pandemic, we have made efforts to actually keep class sizes down and not cut staff even though numbers are going down. That may not be sustainable long term.
Yeah, that's true because school districts get paid, like they get money from the state in part based on how many kids are actually enrolled in the schools. So if you see a decline, it actually has a bigger impact than you would think, because you also have to have a decline either in your fixed costs, right? In your teachers, in your building maintenance, all of these things, right? So if you have fewer students, but you're still keeping the same number of buildings open, you've got higher costs per student, and that means fewer dollars being spent per student on actual instruction.
Teachers going to be teaching themselves. Hi, my name's Mrs. Smith. Hi, Mrs. Smith. What am I going to learn today? I'm going to learn blah, blah, blah. The time is now 8:14 a.m. Okay.
Moving on.
The key to growth, I want to give you one last thing to your point, though. The key to growth will be neighborhood turnover, with older couples downsizing to new homes and younger families with children moving in. She said the district cannot have enough large tracts of land for new residential subdivisions to produce an influx of students that some neighboring school districts have, such as Oswego-based School District 308. Man.
Yeah. Lots of wide open land there where they can still build new houses. So,
all right.
Different story.
Now, we got a couple of local joints. We got some good local news, and I got something that qualifies as... You ready for breaking news, Monica? Are you ready for breaking news?
Dun, dun, dun.
We got breaking news.
There's a button. You're going to have to find the button.
You know which one it is? Oh, snap.
Oh, no. We're going to make the sound effect.
It's Control 8.
It's Control... Y'all are hearing the inner workings. There it is. I mean, it's our live musician in studio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. That's Gunther back there playing that on his... right. Denise Rodriguez is here. Good morning, Denise Rodriguez, Emily Bowe, and dear friend of the show, Bianca Camargo. Oh, and Anthony Moody is here. Moody, what's up, baby? Okay. November 5th will be the first Friday for November, and friend of the show, Josue Pais will be showcasing art titled For the Love of Frida at Charlie's Silver Spoon Creamery located at 6 East Downer Place. Shouts out to our friend Josue and to Charlie's Creamery. We have the flyer. We'll share that on our social for you guys.
And that's for November?
Yeah, that's the November.
And we have a whole
Friday.
October first Friday in between, so...
We do. I wasn't going to... Yeah, right. Boom. Yeah, we got...
We're gearing up.
We're gearing up. Sugar Skull City.
Yeah.
All of that good stuff.
We'll talk. We'll do the whole.
Oh yeah,
all the things we're doing next week.
We're gonna chop that. All right. Don't forget about the Citizens Police Academy hosted by the Kane County Sheriff's Office. This free 10-week course provides firsthand knowledge of how policing works in our community. This will be held Wednesdays from October 6th through December 15th from 6 to 8 p.m. You can register online by visiting the link that we will provide to you. See. We got paper, we got real news, and we still got the link.
That's right. It's a hybrid approach.
We got coffee, we got scarves, we got glasses.
Yeah.
Nobody
you digging the scarf? It's really because winter just arrived this week. So
45 degrees. Woke up.
It was flipping awful. I have never gone so fast from having my AC on to having my heat on. I've never toggled that button within 24 hours before.
Right.
What is happening?
All my neighbors know they living next to a black dude. The first drop of the leaf coming off. Curtis in sweatpants, all kinds of hoodies on and everything. How you doing? Miguel, what up? Good morning, sir. How you doing? All right. Oswego Honors Veterans is here. Good morning, dear friends of the show. All of y'all over there. Lisa. Everybody, I mean, you know who you are. Herschel, Luck, and Bill, rest in peace. Okay, last little quick piece of news. I'm going to give you guys, when we get back to our good news, is the 5th Annual Cups Broad Drive will be happening this year at the Aurora Regional Fire Museum from 5 to 8 p.m. on October 1st. Music, local vendors, and a photo booth. This will be an awesome community event. We have the link for that. You can support a great cause in downtown Aurora by clicking that link, which will be in the chat for you in about 48 seconds. The time is now 8:17 a.m. Okay. Jeanette, now I saw, let me see where the hell it was.
We're scrambling.
I heard.
So I go digital.
But let me make sure I got this.
Let's go. All right.
Right. I heard that the city of Aurora was making a new equity, diversity, and inclusion division because they're trying to.
That is true.
Is that what I?
And that is true. So, many organizations, basically every organization of any size, after last summer, the city has established a DEI position, equity, they've got it as equity, diversity and inclusion. Usually,
that would be EDI.
I know. I usually always see it like DEI.
Right.
Right.
Day.
Yes, like in Latin.
Right.
Right.
Come on, nobody else giving you Latin in the early.
That's right.
If you want to pass college, tune into Good Morning Aurora. Anyway, let me keep going.
Okay. So it's Latin for God, actually.
It is.
Yeah.
Right.
Imago Dei, in the image of God. You're welcome.
Some of those you would be noticed that deity.
Yes. From that word.
Would be the
roots, the root.
Exactly.
Yes.
Come on, man. Nobody's.
Yeah, I'm
Girl, give us the news. What are the news?
Okay, all right, okay. So we're getting an EDI or a DEI or whatever, an IED. No, not that.
No, let's not.
That's bad.
Control 4. Hit Control 4 real quick.
Yeah,
scratch that up. Yeah.
Or something. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to get the acronyms right. We're getting a division that is devoted to building equity and inclusion in the city's organizational structure, which I'm all for. I'm certainly all for any organization actually making meaningful strides to ensure that there's representation, like not just representation, but actual people actually not just in positions, but like with real voices in how city leadership operates, right?
Right.
I think that that's one of the major flaws with a lot of people's or a lot of organizations when they try to do diversity, equity, and inclusion is like, well, we've got this one black person over here, and I think what's her name might be part Mexican. I don't know, but it doesn't. That might be representation, but it's not the same as actually having a voice.
Of course, right. And that's been the problem for so long.
Yeah, right? Because I think lots of organizations are like, well, we have people of color, but do those people actually feel like they're able to like speak up and say something when stuff's whack?
This is Bank of America. We got a black janitor. I mean, what more do you
want?
want?
What do you want?
Yeah,
like,
Jesus. Yeah.
Like Carlos over there.
Right,
Right. So, that's one of the biggest issues, I think, when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion is that inclusion part of actual voices at the table who are saying something. Now, I think that the city of Aurora does that a little bit better than a lot of other places. Just as a matter of we have a lot of representation from people of different race and ethnic backgrounds in the city. I think that's gotten better over the years too. Like they've expanded and included the Indian Outreach Board and all of that. Not to rely on tokenism, but we do have a black mayor, which is which can set a tone, right? And it can set a tone in lots of different ways. Lots of people will tell you that just because you have a person in charge who is of color, right, doesn't mean that you actually make a sea change of things that actually benefit people who belong to that group. Right. But it can, it certainly can move in that way. So I'm happy to see this. I do think that a whole division is probably a bit much. I don't know. The article didn't say how many people are in the division.
I won't call it a problem. But to piggyback slightly off what you said, division did strike a division.
Yeah. Usually you have
that makes me think. I'm a military guy. I'm thinking a whole unit.
Right? Like a division
comprised of.
A division could be just 2 or 3 people. Right? It could be, but even then, I'm still just
Yeah. I don't know.
So because the thing about. The reason I say that is not because I don't think you shouldn't have lots of people working on diversity, equity, and inclusion. The reason I say that is because it's a culture change, which means you can't just have one department anyway that's responsible for it. Right. Everybody has to be responsible for it. You just need the one person who's constantly bringing it up and steering the room, no matter who else is in that room.
See, I think this could be a, dare I say, slippery slope. And here's what, and we'll get into the meat and some of the details in the article, but here's why. We got the mayor. Mm-hmm. We just got Mr. Trujillo, the deputy mayor. Mm-hmm. So the city is very diverse. You go to City Hall, it's very diverse.
It absolutely is.
For them to make a division dedicated to equity and diversity and inclusion, gives me the thought process that A, they think that they are doing something wrong or they're not prepared, or B, they want to preempt potential criticism.
Sure.
And I don't think, this seems like a spur of the moment kind of movie.
Yeah, like I don't remember seeing it in any strategic planning document. Then again, I don't remember having seen any strategic planning document recently.
But if anybody got any strategic planning documents y'all want to leak, Good Morning Aurora, il@gmail.com.
It wouldn't be a leak. It
wouldn't be a leak. Yeah,
posted on
the
exactly.
Right?
Like you just ask for it. Usually, organizations are super proud of their strategic planning document. They're all like, "Look, we brought in Northern Illinois to build a whole strategic plan for us," and they put it all over the place. And they're like, "Good comments on our strategic plan," and all, it's like a big deal, right? Like we said, we wrote down what we think we should do for the next 5 years. What oh my god. But what the thing that I keep coming back to is that it really diversity, equity, inclusion is really the responsibility of you need a person anchoring that. I think, to be sure, you need a person in an organization that's saying, "Hey, what about this? Hey, what about that?" And working with the other departments to kind of permeate the entire culture with that.
Right.
So I don't know. A division seems weird to me. But that's fine.
All right. So according to Mr. Clayton Muhammad, he said the city will look to strengthen an environment at City Hall concerning diversity that has been created and was already there, while maintaining equitable policies and procedures. Outside City Hall, the division will look at building upon the city's diversity through equitable programs, services, and opportunities. Some of the work will include looking at the metrics internally through the Human Relations Department, doing an employee survey, collaborating with the city's training division on equity and inclusion training, and developing a speaker series. The City Council already has approved a disparity study that is underway to look at disparity throughout the community that will involve reviewing current policies and cooperating with the consultants doing the study. The city will look for more equity and inclusion messages in cultural events, City Council presentations, and special initiatives. Already, the city's citizen advisory boards have been realigned and reconfigured, including the African American Heritage Advisory Board, the Aurora Hispanic Heritage Advisory Board, the Indian American Cultural Advisory Board, and the Human Relations Commission and Citizens Review Board.
Yeah. I guess the thing that I want to see out of this, me just personally, as a resident, is approaching diversity from somewhere outside of just, oh hey, we had an event, right? Oh hey, we threw Diwali. Oh hey, we're doing these things for Hispanic, Latinx, Chicano History Month, whatever you want. Yeah, we have the tendency to celebrate those things and then say we've done the job, and that's kind of
And I think is that not the nature of it though? Because it's always a month. Unfortunately, we live in a country where ethnic groups get our month.
Yeah, you get a month.
So that's baked into the cake.
And then pasty people like me just get everything else, right?
Yeah, that's baked into the cake. So that's why I think that kind of makes it feel like we only care when the month comes around. Yeah. And that's, I guess that's part of the problem. But it's also
you feel
it's constant.
You feel a little defeated. You feel like maybe we're not going to see anything beyond that. I will be excited to see what kind of plan comes out of the EDI, DEI division. I will be excited to see a strategic plan with benchmarks and goals, and we're going to increase hiring in these groups. We're going to increase whatever.
So according to Clayton, funny you mentioned that. According to Clayton, he also said the city plans to develop new task forces, such as the Mayor's Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Advisory Network. What a mouthful. Listen to this. The Mayor's Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Advisory Network, and the Mayor's Office Student Equity Inclusion Council. Eventually, the city is looking toward developing an equity action plan by 2022.
The most the Mosaic. We get like they're too long. They need like acronyms or something. Like why didn't they acronymize any of that?
Because right now, Mayor's Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Advisory looks like MED. It's median.
Median? Yeah.
Mayor's Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Advisory Network.
Look at that one. Okay,
median.
so that one works.
Oh, snap, yeah.
The Mayor's Office Student Equity Inclusion Color needs a work.
It
needs a little work.
Mosaic.
Yeah, it's like not mosaic. It is, so we'll work on that. They can work on it. But like, yeah, so I mean, kudos to the city for tackling this. Like I'm very much in favor of it. I would be curious to see what kind of actionable stuff actually comes out of it, right? Because I think that so many, and here's another big challenge with DEI stuff, right? Is that so many organizations, what they'll do is they bring in the trainer, right? And they do the webinars and they do the, the sessions where they're trying to explain concepts like white privilege and things like that to staff. Mm-hmm. But what they don't take into account very often is that people are in different places on this. And nobody, like some people are really ready to hear messages when it comes to our history of like pervasive racism, that's like structural racism in the country. Some people are really ready and like to understand that, and some people aren't quite there yet. Some people are still like really stuck in the like just needing to understand interpersonal
the only reason why there's racism is because you keep talking about it,
right? And that's, I don't want to be unfair to those people. Some people just really have not been exposed to an awful lot, right? Like, and so any kind of approach really needs to account for, like, it's just like in class, right? It's just like in a first grade class. You have some kids who come in like already reading, and you have some kids who don't know their numbers, right? You have to like, and the job of a good educator is to move everybody forward. And what happens if you don't do that? What happens is what I've seen multiple times now is you come in and you're doing the training and you're explaining white privilege and you're explaining all these like systemic racism, you're explaining all this stuff. And if someone's not ready for it yet, they tend to like really disengage, and it tends to spark anger because we don't understand, like what we don't understand tends to make us angry, right? And so it's a challenge. I'm really like, there's a huge growing, like every organization is hiring a DEI person right now, and I think that's an amazing thing. It's just how you handle it is important. That's it. That's all I have to say.
The time is now 8:31 a.m. and you were late.
I feel like you've got one more thought on this.
You know, one thing I learned about in radio is that sometimes the best thing you can say is nothing at all.
See, that doesn't make sense because then you just have dead air.
It doesn't, but we don't have that problem on this show.
We don't. We always have somebody talking.
But I've shared my opinion about it before, and we got a topic that's even more. What's the word of the day today? It'll come to me. Okay. We got a topic that's even more pressing to talk about.
Divisive.
It's not divisive. We had a good response about it yesterday, but we'll just get into it. Now, I heard, let me refresh for our listeners who tuned in yesterday. Fines, fireworks. We've told you guys before that the fireworks issue in Aurora is not going away. These people are going to, you will be having a bad day if you are an illegal fireworks user. What can you tell us about that, Jeanette?
Yeah, so the City Council's Rules, Administrations, and Procedures, the RAP Committee.
The RAP Committee.
Scratch.
What?
Scratch. We're scratching? There it is.
That's right.
Oh, no, we're not returning to the days when we attempted to rap on this show.
It happened again. We got a new MC. We got Monica. Monica can flow.
Oh, okay.
Monica can
rap. Was that part of the test to become per the interview? You have to flow. Right. So the RAP Committee got another look at the fines for people setting off illegal fireworks. So currently in the city, if you set off illegal fireworks, if your neighbors are setting off illegal fireworks, you call the cops or whatever, and it takes the cops like 3 hours to show up because they got other things to do, and of course it's all done, and there's nothing they can do, and so they don't, because they can't find the place, and then they're like, so then nothing happens.
Now it's just out of Cheddar's and Modelo's all night,
and like. And so there's basically zero enforcement of the fireworks issue right now.
Heck of a thing to enforce.
Well, so they're looking at changing it so that it'll become like a fine, and that the fine can actually be leveraged after the fact.
Right.
So or levied. I think you levy a fine. Issued.
Both
fine.
Would work, but levied I think is the more appropriate.
Yeah. So you get the fine after the fact. So
levied, that's the word of the day, levied.
Levied, yes. So, which is interesting, because then my question becomes, like, how much evidence does there have to be for the fine to actually get issued?
Now, you see that's where...
Like, if I just call my neighbors and I'm like, they were shooting off fireworks, but there's no evidence
that's
of it.
The point where... That's where it gets sticky. It
gets real sticky there.
Right there.
Like, does it just have to be like a single shell, like on the property? Like, do there have to be like the gunpowder, like, marks on the concrete or whatever? What's the preponderance of evidence that a crime has occurred here?
Here's why it gets slippery. It was just last year when there was the Aurora Police Department incident, which went viral. Where they arrested a guy on his own property in the doorway of his house with, I think it was like sparklers and M80s. Yeah. It was not. It was the grab bag of fireworks that you could get at Home Depot. And if you recall,
I don't think you can get M80s.
If you recall, the mayor and Chief Zeman at that time released a statement saying we're not going to charge the individual.
Yeah, they ended
so
up
that is that's the
right, because like, look, my neighbors, like, if all I got to do is just call and tattle, and we don't need any kind of like proof of anything, that's a
hell of a thing to enforce.
For disaster.
But I'll say this though, I'm not calling the police over fireworks.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm not calling the police over fire. I just can't do that. I'd go tell you to stop.
Yeah.
I'll start the confrontation, but I will not call police.
Yeah.
Because people are lighting off fireworks.
Yeah. I will admit to having done that. I know.
Monica, can you hit Control 5, please? Or no, actually, Control 6, I think it is.
We're learning that.
Yeah, that's.
I know. I confess to having done it. At 3 a.m. on a Tuesday, right? Like when I need to work in the morning, and no, I'm not getting out of bed at 3 a.m. to go like yell at the neighbors.
Right.
So like, but I understand too, and feel conflicted about it too, because I don't want to call and involve law enforcement over something as stupid as fireworks, right? So I am happy at the idea of this is just an administrative ticket that we can just issue, and it doesn't have to turn into it, like nobody with guns and handcuffs is showing up at the door over something as stupid as fireworks. That I am a fan of, but yeah, the evidence, like, I think it's obviously it's really clear if there's gunpowder marks on your driveway, right? But it is less clear if there's just like some shells sitting around or your neighbor just said something, right?
Yeah, it is.
So that's tricky.
And I grew up with my uncle who's since passed away. He was this is another reason why I would never call the cops on anybody with fireworks. Like, my uncle, who was a police officer for many, many years and parties and 4th of Julys, he and other officers would bring confiscated fireworks. And I know, look.
And you'd have a party, right?
Listen. Look, for those of you looking and watching and listening to this show, don't believe for a moment that in the good old USA, the greatest resource for fireworks are not police officers and law. Don't get it out of your head. Don't think for a moment, oh no, trust me.
And here's the other thing I would say.
That's why I would never call police on nobody with fireworks.
I mean, like fireworks.
The great American pastime.
They're super fun. I'll also give you that. I have also shot off fireworks. It was in Indiana when I lived for a summer in Indiana. Lord help me. And
ooh, what was that like?
Oh,
frog in the corner and he go right.
I'm working on a whole stand-up bit that someday I'm gonna get brave enough to like go tell at the Comedy Shrine for open mic night on my summer in Indiana. So I'll let the crowd know.
Marissa Amoni is here. Good morning to you, Marissa Amoni. She's a dear friend of the show and she is the director of Aurora Downtown. She's responsible for a lot of good stuff.
Makes all the things happen.
All kinds of things happening.
Yeah.
And also, good morning to Jenny Jaquez Fear Day and Quinto Armand J, good morning to you as well. And Ali Hernandez, friend of the show and a United States Marine Corps veteran. Definitely the toughest person in many rooms at any given time. The time is now 8:50. Did that say 8:39?
Oh, woo! We were only halfway through this whole thing.
That was scary as hell.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. We're like, oh no. No, so I think that I'm not gonna take the hardline stance and say that fireworks are an evil scourge,
sure.
Right?
No.
And look, I've got a terrified little dog. Like I have to sit there with we call it boom cheese in our house. Every time there's a scary boom, she gets a piece of cheese. It's the only way to quell her anxiety. But even then, I'm not like, nobody should ever have fireworks.
Right.
I don't think they should have them at 3 a.m. on Tuesday.
Some of our aldermen think that you should.
Look, they're not legal.
That's what they thinking.
They're not legal, but I don't have a big deal. I don't have a huge problem with them at like 9 p.m. on a Saturday in early July. Like I don't.
All good.
Like okay, fine.
Right.
Like I do have a problem with them when they're breaking windows. I have a problem with them when people are being really unsafe about them, and I have a problem with them at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Oh yeah. Oh definitely.
Yeah.
Without doubt.
Which just comes down to just be nice. Right? Just be nice. Be considerate of your neighbors.
Right.
Shoot off fireworks in a reasonable manner.
As we told you guys yesterday, though, the fines are anywhere from $250 to $1,000. That was the purported recommended suggested levels of fines. Again, if you're shooting off illegal fireworks in Aurora, you might want to rein in your activities, be smart about it, and stop being so reckless because it's not going to end good for all of us.
Yeah, what I think is really interesting too is watching the city council grappling with issues of iniquity in the fine system, right? Because they've pointed out, like, as they are talking about this, the hardliners who are just like, no, to like as second word older woman Juana Garza was like, $250 is nothing. Are you kidding me? Like, destroy these people with fines. And I get it. I think she hasn't slept in a while, like we all haven't in fireworks season. And on the other end, people are saying like, look, that could be enough money to just like almost bankrupt somebody, right? And so it's they're scaling the fines so that you get hit once, like you've got a fair warning and you won't do it again. But I thought that the comment that Emmanuel Lamas brought up was that some people are in a better position to afford the fines than others. And if you've got a lot of money to blow on fireworks, you might also have an awful lot of money to blow on paying for fines for fireworks.
To my friends who are familiar with loud explosions and things like mortars and M1000s and up, we know how much those things cost. So I'm saying I wouldn't really have any
qualms
with you getting hit with the $500 fine.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't, because that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So those people, yes. But again, it all boils back down, like, I just don't have it in me to call the police. I'm not calling the police for the fire. You know, I sleep really good at night too. We live close to a train. That train never wakes me up. I sleep good with explosions, so I'm not really tripping on it. Because here's the thing about America.
You know, the train never wakes me up.
Right?
But you know what does wake me up? Drunk people pouring out of Luxies. Like, it's never...
Look, can you scratch it real quick?
Ooh, scratching.
That's a scratch. Oh, that works too.
It's a scratch clap. We're getting there. Learning curve.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, no, like, because a train rumbles. A train never wakes me up because they don't they don't lay on the horn usually in our hood, right? But man, drunk people at night when I got my windows open and they're screaming at each other, and I'm just like, really? So that'll wake me up every night. It's generally a loud neighborhood.
Yeah, my neighbors play Chente all night long, which is it's kind of soothing when you've had a couple of drinks too.
What is Chente?
Chente?
Yeah, fill a girl in.
The time is now 8:44 a.m. I'll let you know what, for the listeners, put Chente. If you know who Chente, if you know what I'm talking about, put Chente in the chat for Jeanette here. So let's move on to things you do know about, like Fleetwood Mac or something like that, right?
Up.
Journey.
Oh my God.
Right?
Okay, I could sing.
ABBA? Is that what you?
I could sing some Journey right now.
Is that what you guys?
I did, and I did see an ABBA tribute band earlier this summer at a festival.
Right.
Yeah, I do know. I'm gonna stop there.
Okay. I got some quick local headlines to talk about to give you guys, and then we will get back to the next section that we got, which is about some hubbub, which happened in Geneva. So give me a quick second here and give you this news that we got. All right, here's the thing. Let's see. It's legit. What?
No, that's fine. I'm still.
Oh, I love this.
I'm really curious to find out who Chente is.
Yeah.
It's short for Avon Chente, I'm assuming.
You getting there?
Okay.
You getting there? Yeah.
All right.
So September the 28th from 5 to 6 p.m. is this month's Social Justice Committee meeting. That's going to be hosted by the Office of State Representative Barbara Hernandez. Special guest will be Cabrini Green Legal Aid, and they'll be talking about the Clean Slate Initiative. If you are unfamiliar with the Clean Slate Initiative, I would direct you to, I think it was last week's Washington Post article, which was absolutely wonderful on it. The Times did a piece as well. However, we have the link for registration, which we will provide to you guys as well. October 15th, which is a Friday, will be a great night. Our friends of Mutual Ground will be having their black and white ball from 6 to 11 p.m. at Hotel Arista, located at 2139 Citygate Lane in Naperville.
Ooh,
all right.
Fancy.
Super fancy.
Yeah.
That's right over there by Top Golf and all that.
Yeah.
Hotel Arista is really fly. They got a spa in there.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's real cool. Real cool.
Yeah.
Mutual Ground supports everybody, and because this is a black and white ball, all participants and guests must wear black and white, or shades of black and white, including silver. Don't be the guy who shows up with some...
in, pink.
Right, don't be that.
Don't.
And the 4th annual Mayor's Ball will be happening Saturday the 25th of this month from 6 to 10 p.m. at Bell Sal Banquets, located at 1920 East New York Street. 4 years of building the foundation, 4 more years of building the future. Tickets are on sale for that. Last but not least, on October 2nd from noon to 5 p.m., our friends at Talented 10th Social Services are hosting the Holiday Craft Vendor Fair. That'll be a fun event. $25 vendor fee, and the location is 205 North Lake Street. Now, McCarty Mills is the scene of a lot of stuff happening this weekend.
Oh, they got all the things.
Sunday is Corinne's Kitchen. Get out there and try some of the best soul food around. Locally made. Really good food. Try the ribs. Today at 5 p.m., though, is going to be Oktoberfest with sour peach steam buns.
Oh, man. I may have to show up in my dirndl.
What's a dirndl?
Like the skirt and the
Oh, that's the
vest
ethnic joint that they
and
wear.
the poofy shirt.
Okay.
And, except I'm Polish, not German. I mean, nobody really knows, but like, so I also have like the flower crown and the whole sequins. It's
Word up. That's dope.
yeah. So get ready
Corinne's
for that.
Kitchen's going to be Sunday at 1 p.m. And tomorrow at 4 p.m., Calogito's Old World Italian Pizza
Oh, okay. Yeah.
will be on the scene. Specialty craft beer, mead, and wine. Shouts out to friends of the show, McCarty Mills.
McCarty Mills.
Word up.
Get ready for that dirndle, guys.
All right, now what happened in Geneva? Didn't something?
Yeah.
Time is 8:48
so,
a.m. What the heck?
Hold on. I'm going.
Because I saw that it was
There's
right?
yeah. So, there's some teachers. Ooh, oh no, wrong link. Oh, we may not be able to cover the. Okay, so look, real quick. There are some teachers and bus drivers who have decided that they don't want to comply with the governor's mandate to get their COVID vaccine or submit
Patriots.
or submit to testing on a regular basis up in Geneva, and so I think they're suing or something. And this is just your reminder that absolutely. Your employer in America, regardless of who they are, public, private, whatever, can absolutely force you to get a vaccine. That's just. I don't love that. I don't love my employer having that much control over things, but the fact of the matter is that is.
Well, they really don't, right? Because one could just quit.
You could just quit, right? That's your option. Now, is that a great system? I don't know, but when you signed up to be a teacher or a bus driver or whatever, you had to get a tuberculosis test, right?
Right.
So you walked into this thing knowing, my health is a matter of public interest, right? And it's the same thing here. The vaccine has been cleared for by the FDA fully, so it's that has paved the way for yes, absolutely. Your employer can force you.
Now this is I read the article when this happened.
Good, because I did too.
The thing, right? The thing that happened was that these teachers in Geneva decided to file a lawsuit saying that they should not have to comply with the vaccine mandate. Now here's where it got silly for me. Was that because one of the things that we do on this show is we passionately investigate, also known as lurking. I kept digging.
Passionately.
Yeah, I kept digging around in various social media channels coming out of Oswego that had a bent, or excuse me, not Oswego, Geneva that had a bent to it, and there is this air, this climate of they're doing this because they're patriots.
Oof.
And they're trying to stick it to Pritzker.
Oof.
And it's not about loving my profession for the past X amount of years, and I have qualms and reservations. No, it's not that. It's wanting to.
So
it's wanting to stick up for our rights.
It's an outgrowth of the deep polarization that is permeating everything in American discourse.
And what I'm saying is, I think that's a poor argument.
Yeah, there's been some interesting articles out there too about what constitutes a religious exemption these days too, right? Because in a lot of places you can get a religious exemption for not just the COVID vaccine, but lots of vaccines. And so also religiosity in the country is plummeting. Someone who is very deeply involved in churches and making churches happen, right? It's like we kind of stare at the stats and we're like, ooh.
People are believing in Santa Claus now more than
religion. Right, in droves. Which doesn't mean that people aren't believing in God or spirituality in some way, but when it comes to I go to a religious institution every week on Friday evenings or Sunday mornings or whatever it happens to be, that is plummeting. So then what does a religious exemption actually look like? Is it based on I'm just going to tell you what my spiritual beliefs are and then that counts? Or is it do I have to get a pastor somewhere, somebody who wears a collar of some kind to sign off on this paperwork, even though I've never met them in person, but I follow them on Instagram? It's a weird, wild new world of what constitutes religion and spirituality in the public sphere.
Gotta have a friend in Jesus. What song is that?
I know that song.
What song is
that? That's Spirit in the Sky. Where I'm gonna
Monica,
go
would you
when
hit the
die.
clap?
When I die and the baby is rest, I'm gonna go
In
to
the place that's the best.
That's actually really terrible theology.
That's the jam.
That is,
That's the
it's
jam.
an amazing song. It's terrible theology. The fellow who wrote it was just like, I wonder if I could do a spiritual, and then he just like wrote it, and it has.
Is it terrible theology?
Oh yeah. Because it's all like heaven, like after current, like where we're at. See, I'm more of a Brandy Carlisle, heaven is a place on earth kind of gal. Like I feel like that is a stronger, like directive for how to live your life. Like making the kingdom of God here. We can move on though.
Yeah, don't ruin the song. Don't ruin
No, it's still a good song. And
Right,
both jams are on my playlist, right? Like.
Okay.
Oh no! Like I say, this is a good song. As I know all the words. Anyway, so
the time is 8:54 a.m.
Holy moly! We didn't even get to asking our amazing question of the day, which is about the Naperville house.
We got time.
We got time.
We got time for that.
Okay. Everybody who's watching live right now, get your fingers ready because there is a as published in Crane's Chicago magazine, which I do not subscribe to because I can't subscribe to everything because I'm not as rich as this person in Naperville. There's a home for sale in Naperville for $15 million right now. So $15 million in Naperville. It is setting the record. I think it's like tripling the record for like the most expensive home sold out in the burbs, right? Like in the city, you might get something like that. Like property values are crazy. Like whatever, their mansions. $15 million. So get ready to tell us because we have no clue because I didn't read the article because again I'm not that rich because I don't have the Crane subscription. What on earth?
It's like 99 cents.
I have like 12 other subscriptions. So it's an additive property here.
I'll just keep shutting up. My bad.
Keep
going what you were saying. Anyway, you were saying.
Somebody tell us what could possibly be in a home that would make it worth $15 million. Because I do not know.
A bowling lane, a movie theater.
Okay.
Because there was a house.
Okay, but
there was a house back there on like Bailey Road that had something.
That's
yeah.
$4 million.
Right, $15 million. Yeah.
$15 million.
That's got to have a helicopter pad.
Right. Like, so somebody tell us. Like a grow. All I can think of is like built-in grow house for an entire like weed operation in the basement. Right, or something. Like what?
It would have to be $15 million. What could possibly be in that house for it to be $15 million?
$15 million.
Did anybody important live there?
I have no idea because I didn't read the article.
Oh.
Because I don't.
Subscribe to
No,
Crane.
we're just wildly speculating at this point. So
I don't know what would be in a $15 million home, but I could. Like, it had to have all those amenities. It would have to. And it would probably have to be on private land too. Like I would think it'd be one of its
like you got a lake.
Yeah.
You know, you got like you have to have some expanse. The photo didn't look like it had a large expanse around it. Maybe we should Zillow this. Find out. Some listeners, hop on Zillow and let us know. Just like for the most expensive home in Naperville. Just
$15 million.
Just like turn that little crank on the Zillow all the way up to like the top.
I'll tell you what though, I hope that whoever is in that home, reach out to Good Morning Aurora, il@gmail.com.
Yes, if you would like to sponsor.
Let us take a tour of that, yeah.
If you would like to sponsor Good Morning Aurora, we have many opportunities available to help you reach our informed and engaged audience.
And just like that, we are in the home business. Cranes is a Chicago publication for you guys that don't know Cranes. It's Chicago publication.
All the business stuff.
Business publication.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Cranes Chicago business. I'm really curious for this house.
All right. The time is 8:57 a.m. We got another piece of news that just came across, and it qualifies as breaking news. CNN status. Y'all never seen that. All right. Free electronics recycling drive-through happening Saturday, October 2nd. It'll be from 8 a.m. to noon. It'll be at Bednarsik Junior High School, 3025 Higgs Road. Registration is required. There are limited spots, a limit of 2 screens per vehicle, unlimited other approved electronics. Aurora residents only, and ID is required. Yeah. That's looking like it's going to be really cool, so get ready for that. Thank you to the city for all the recycling drive-through stuff, because people just throwing their trash and items all over the place. Look, this is not Hammond, Indiana. Shout out to Hammond, Indiana now, but like this is not. You just can't be leaving stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and electronics are super tricky too, because it used to be super easy to get rid of them because the market was such that they would salvage all the metals and stuff out of there, and they could make much money on it. And now the market flipped, and so now it costs money to get rid of, especially like TV screens and stuff like that. It is tricky to get rid of that stuff. You can drop many things off at Best Buy, though. You should know that.
Best Buy?
Yeah, believe it or not, because they sell all the electronics, they're required to take back a bunch of it, too. So, like, if you've got, like, a bajillion, like, cords and stuff, like, I always have cords. I have, like, 3 times as many cords for things as I have electronics in my house. You can drop those off. Like, they can take lots of, like, little small electronics. Like, you just walk in, like, right as you walk in the door.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, you're welcome. Pro tip there.
All right. So the time is now 8:59 a.m. We're going to get ready to wrap this up. I got one more thing for you guys. Where the hell did it go? Aha, here it is.
What do we got?
Okay. So don't forget that Aurora Area Interfaith Food Pantry is having their 40th birthday bash, but it is going virtual. Friday, October 8th from 5:30 to 10 p.m. Tickets are available at aurorafoodpantry.org/house party. We have the link. We'll give that to you guys. Or you can mail a check to 1110 Jericho Road. Space is limited, so please hurry. And also on that very same day, October 8th, our friends of the Neighbor Project will be hosting Bridge Bash 2021. It will be a 2-part event. One part taking place at 32 South Broadway, which is the headquarters of Neighbor Project. The other will feature live music, guests, and entertainment and food across the street in beautiful Mundy Park. And there's a band playing there on that particular evening at the venue. For information on that, you can go to neighborproject.us, or you can text Bridge Bash to 234725. Yeah. Excuse me, 243-725.
Uh-oh.
243, right.
Bag it up.
Somebody got a text message. Who the fuck? I don't know no Curtis. All right. Yeah, fun and fundraising all in one. All right, so we are heading into the weekend. This was an awesome, another awesome scratch it up. You know what? Sip it up. Sip it up. Sip it up.
Sip it up.
Community sip.
Yep.
After the scratch.
There it is.
Community sip. When we mess up on the show, you know we sip it up. Okay.
I don't make as much noise sipping as you do.
I got big lips.
Well, in some cultures, it's considered rude to not make a whole bunch of slurping noises.
Really?
Yes, like I want to say Japanese culture, like when you're sitting down for like Japanese tea ceremony.
Because that means that if you don't do that, you don't like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to make noise.
So
like,
you're
how's that food? That's good, man.
You're drinking that matcha. You're supposed to like make slurpy noises or whatever. I'm not. It's not my thing.
Okay. This has been another great episode of Jenettesplaining. We appreciate all of you wonderful listeners, fans, and subscribers. Subscribe to the show on YouTube and subscribe to the show on Spotify. Now, here's the thing about Apple. If you have Apple Podcasts, you need to go to the far left side of your screen if you're on the app. And I think you hit the 3 dots on that side, and then it will allow you to see the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts. That was relayed to us by a listener of the show trying to see where they subscribe at, and I think that's where it's at on the app.
So, completely intuitive.
Yes, exactly. Right.
I have recently switched back to a Mac in my personal life, and man, like, there's like cool. It's like got some cool stuff, right? It like starts up real fast, and like all these things, they last forever. But man, like switching your brain from like the right click to the
it's difficult.
It's a whole. It's just a rewiring. It's like riding a bike backwards.
Yep. All right. Subscribe to the show. We appreciate you very much. Join us on Patreon, YouTube. We need you on YouTube, Patreon, and also share the show with your friends and listeners. We appreciate all of our fans, subscribers, listeners very much. The 1-year anniversary of Tracy Duran's episode is today. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, Tracy. And shouts out to all of you great people for all the good stuff that you do in your respective lives. Take care of yourself and each other.
Adios, Aurora.
Camera still on? Oh, it's that's gonna be on. That's gonna be on. Yeah, that'll be on.